So, ladies and gentlemen, tuna fish isn't the only thing that's a danger to dolphins. Car tires can also be a danger to dolphins.
Bro, speaking of blowing O-rings, bro.
So tell the people what the fuck happened to you this week.
So, a lot. It just hasn't been the best month.
But just this story in particular.
I'm thinking of this old car insurance commercial for whatever reason. So I was going down the highway, going to work, going 85, which is normal. It's a 70 mile per hour.
Most people can't do 70.
No, people go at least 80 to 85, up to 90. But I was going 85.
I'm going to take a quick divergence here. 70 is the shit. It's a commuter's highway.
Yes, it's the best. You just go where you need to go.
They are fucking professional commuters, 70.
Yeah.
Like, if you go on 95, 495, 695, all that shit, it's fucked. And I know this is a global podcast that charts in other countries, so you're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I'm sure they have the equivalent in their city.
Yeah, but it's like this one stretch of road in Maryland that goes from east to west. Like, people...
Across all of
Yeah, it goes across the country. But people only use it I feel like 90% is just to get to work or to take a long trip.
Yep.
And like, so you don't run into like as many goofy ass drivers.
No bullshitting, no lollygaggers, no rubberneckers.
So people get it on 70.
Yeah.
So
you go 80. You normally go 80. It doesn't matter. Rush hour, you slow down to maybe 65 because there's more cars on the road. So I was going 85 on the left lane, which is the fast lane here in Freedom Land on this day, the Freedom Day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, happy, was it 26th anniversary or some shit like that? I don't remember birthdays, but I remember your 26th anniversary.
Yeah, Laura and I's 26th. We started dating.
What's your wedding anniversary?
No, we started dating.
Dude, how do I know this? This is really random information.
I don't know mine.
It's an easy date to remember. So the only fun
I remember the year too, though. That's the fucked up part.
96. So the
4th of July, 96.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell your story. I'm gonna reminisce myself for a moment.
So I had Laura. Oh God, I'm debating on whether or not to tell this story.
It's too late. Once you start, you can't stop.
Laura was inexperienced when I met her. We were 15, and I was not as inexperienced in any stretch of the imagination. So I had told this joke to her like a couple days prior or whatever that oh man, I'm a fucking horrible human being, dude. What am I getting ready to say?
We're here 26 years later, so it's fine.
That I had heard drinking Coke was a good palate cleanse if you had just had my kids. Like trying to like soften her up to the idea in my 15-year-old brain. So we first day she came over to my house by herself because she had come over with friends and shit other times. Like I said, my basement was kind of like a clubhouse. We watched oh man, I'm such a fucking terrible human being. I thought I was smooth, right?
I think all 15-year-old boys are.
So, I'm messing with her. You know, I'm getting handsy.
Yep.
You know, but not going too far. Right. I'm in her shirt a little bit, but that's about it.
Being a gentleman.
Yeah, being a gentleman. And I think we're watching Mobsters. You know, and I said I could feel her heart racing, so I put her hand on her heart, and I was like, you feel your heart beating? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, you want to feel it beat faster?
Man,
makes a noise from me.
I mean, it worked, I guess, because here we are.
Here we are.
So, she said, yeah. So then I got busy. We didn't have sex, but I went down on her, right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, you were wild just to tell these stories to the world.
And after
it's history.
Yeah. I mean, I was 15 years old. After it was over, I was like, you gonna do me? like fingers crossed, and she's like, I guess it'd be messed up if I didn't. And I was like, yep. And then after that, it was like probably like 5-10 minutes went by of like kind of awkward silence. I'm putting my pants back on, and she's like, do you have Coke?
I hope you did, because
I did.
That would be fucked up if you did it.
I did.
Wow.
But you were a gentleman. You went first. That's the gentleman move.
Yeah, well, because I have no interest afterwards. But like,
I mean, like most dudes, doesn't matter the age, they get theirs, and then that's it.
And I'll tell you, like, so I had been in a year-long relationship prior to Laura that ended in February. We started dating in July. Mm-hmm. So February, March, April, May, June. Well, I'm a 15-year-old kid that's been in a year-long relationship. Like, I was getting busy. I was getting my fucking life off in those months. And Laura was only supposed to be a summer thing. That was my intention. She'd hold me down for the summer, and then I move on. But I ended up falling in love with her. But like, it had gotten so regular, right? Because I was for a young boy. How many 14-year-olds do you know in a year-long relationship?
Yeah, and also be getting it that
In
regularly.
a year long, this 14-year-olds having a year-long relationship is crazy.
Right.
I had like 2-3 relationships in that year.
Yeah. So like when I got out the gate, I got out heavy, and Laura was actually the one that tipped my grandmother over. She was like, dude, I don't know about how I feel about all these girls coming in and out of the house. Do their parents know they're coming in? You guys are staying in the basement with the door closed, doing God knows what, and then they're like, all that kind of shit. She ended up being the last one, as it turns out. But my grandma I was pushing her to her limits. She was pretty cool about shit, but I was pushing her to her limits.
So Joe, you're tired.
Yeah, you're tired, Joe.
Talking about blowing out O-rings, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So going 85 down the highway, where they're on the left lane, on the fast lane, where there's no left shoulder,
Right.
for whatever reason.
Guardrail.
And my car started wobbling. I'm like, I serviced my car regularly. This is not normal. And then I started smelling like burnt rubber. I was like, is this COVID? Is this? They said they smell burning when it's COVID. I was like, nope. And then starts blue smoke coming out the side of my car. I was like, oh, fuck, did I blow an engine or something? I looked down at my gauge. Everything was fine. And then the whole car started rocking. And I see, and in my rearview mirror, my tire flew off in a strip. Like the whole tire, not the wheel. People get that confused.
Yeah.
The tire is the rubber part.
Right.
Yes.
Not the metal rim part. So the tire just stripped off. And I was just on my rim. And I had to cut across work hour traffic 3 lanes to pull over to. Thankfully, I know how to change my tire.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know. I think we talked about this a little while back too, that people don't know how to change the tires. And I think it's like a life skill that you should have, just like swimming.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of 70, that's not that much help.
No,
if you didn't, especially if you have a phone.
I would have come and helped you if you
Yeah.
knew, I didn't know how far you were, but I knew it couldn't have been too far.
Yeah.
No, it was like a few miles down your exit. But yeah, I changed my tire and got to work like 20 minutes late. But that was an experience. I've never seen a car tire fly up like that. Only 18-wheelers.
I've gotten a flat before, but never a blowout. Like,
Yeah, that wasn't even a blow. I mean, the tire was gone.
Gone. It's just stripped
crazy.
off.
Yeah.
I don't know what I hit. It might have hit something like sharp on the road that just gashed it, and then going that fast stripped it off.
it's crazy.
It was like your rim had frills around the edge, and that's all.
Yeah, but like that.
It was
Luckily,
crazy.
whatever left was a tire around the rim protected it, because I drove on it for like a good quarter mile to pull over safely. I didn't just immediately cut across like some other of my kind.
Good rock, everybody else.
On a normal day with not blown out tires.
That's from Family Guy.
Yes. that the GPS.
Yeah, she's like
Cut across 4 lanes of traffic now.
she refuses to put her blinker on.
Yes.
Good rock, everybody else.
But yeah, so the day before, we have a lockbox key for the pharmacy to go in. Same lockbox, same place I've been gone for 6 years. It stopped working, and I was also late that day because we had to get a locksmith to pry the door open, because there's only one key for that door.
Only one key.
Well, the other key is for the manager, who is off, who was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be my half day, and they called out and I had to be there. It's just been wild.
That Asian driving thing got me thinking. What are the most... I say stereotypes are usually based on real shit, right?
Yeah.
What are the most fiction, like complete bullshit stereotypes?
I don't know because
Two popped right to my head.
What's that?
because I know Asian drivers I know a lot of bad Asian drivers.
Mexicans are lazy.
That's
Oh
not
yeah,
true
that's
at all.
not true.
It's
That's like the hardest working people.
they're probably the hardest working people on the planet, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
I think
you know,
maybe because you only see them when they're busting a chill.
maybe, but like that is a stereotype.
Yeah.
But it's absurd.
I don't understand where it comes from.
It's something to do. I mean, the whole siesta thing,
Yeah.
and that, and I mean, I'm imagining maybe someone wandered into some people that had just done peyote in Mexico, and they weren't being very lazy, and it's one person's experience.
The other
they do be drinking around my way. We have a lot of them, the workers in the Chevy Chase neighborhood. They do be drinking beer at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then going back to work.
Yeah. But that hillbillies do that shit too. Like
I don't know how.
Or rednecks more so than.
I don't understand how you can change modes like that. Going from working to busting a chill, drinking some beer, and then back to busting your ass after drinking like 2-3 beers.
Yeah. And the other one that pops to mind is Polish people are dumb.
Yeah, I never knew.
Because like
I never even heard of that.
Because like being in like
it was always jokes.
yeah, it'd be like a white guy, a black guy, and a Polish guy walk into a bar, and it's always the Polish guy that makes some dumbass fucking mistake that ends up in. But like
Where that started from?
well, yeah, I don't know because like there's a lot of Polish people in Baltimore, like the Baltimore area, and like every Polish person I know is like really quite bright.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from either.
Yeah. I don't know, like.
They invented the Polish sausage, so like, you can only be so dumb.
That's true. I think that's about all. That's the only thing I could think of. That and then that whole World War II bit that wasn't their best moment.
It might have come from that. There might have been some boneheaded moves made during.
Well, speaking of
those decisions that I'm not aware of,
like the whole thing of like the French being like retreating and like. Comes from World War II, but they have like the best scorecard in history, like of the European countries. But it all, that fucking the
reputation.
They did a number on them. They did a number on them in that one. All right, yeah. So your tire story is complete. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So,
my entire month of June is gone. Like I don't know what happened. I don't remember living. June.
I can't believe half this year's gone.
June went by fast.
Working 6 days a week will like just makes you into like a robot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just day in day out. It's Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, and I mean this month is going to be really tough for us.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. No,
back August should be more normal.
Yeah, August should be.
What's the most days in a row you guys have ever worked for a job?
Oh, I can't count because
6.
there was
6 days.
You never
but it wasn't a regular schedule. It was like that's just 1 week.
Yeah,
that I worked 6
or
days.
47 days in a row. One time I worked in the film industry.
Oh,
wow!
Like I lost both of my other key holders and could not find anybody to work. And
key holder, that's what they call them.
So the goal if you run a retail establishment, the goal of building a staff is that you don't have to always be there.
Yes,
and that system had failed for me. It was around the holidays too. It really sucked.
Yeah, I didn't keep track. That was one summer where I worked like the entire summer every single day.
Wow.
Like in my early 20s.
So I'll tell you, like, this might come to you as some surprise, but like, I didn't do well at keeping a job as a young person. And like I much preferred just being outside.
Yeah, I mean, and we all prefer to not work.
Yeah. But I mean, and also, like I and hustle, and find different hustles to make money and live that way. Like
putting things in bags and stuff.
The idea of like a register working, like it just, that type of work or stocking a shelf. I worked at Value Food, bagging groceries.
Packaging engineer. Thank you very much.
Well, actually, to be fair, I was 15, and I was stoned all the time. And not because I was a big stoner guy. I usually wasn't. I was like a Friday, Saturday, let's roll one up kind of a kid. I wasn't like a every day and morning and all that kind of stuff. But when I knew I was going to this boring ass, dumb ass job, I was like, I'm going to get stoned and go in there. And that shit, like, first of all, you're not even supposed to work a cashier register at 15. There's like a rule to this shit. But I fell through the cracks or whatever. I had a hard ass time with this shit. Like, it was like the hardest job I've ever had in my life. I couldn't get it right, man. The math got you. Well, the scanning and all that was fine, like scanning and cash. But when it started getting into checks and I was like, man, I don't know.
When they're taking EBT,
all that kind of stuff. Like, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I was generally okay as long as it was simple, but like if they came in and they were like paper, and also the speed of like bagging the groceries, like and keeping the conveyor belt, like when they would say like paper in the plastic. Dude,
that fucks you up.
I would put a whole grocery cart full of groceries and then hit total, and I'd be like, it says $14.75. I don't know. I guess that's right.
Well, I started bagging groceries when I was 15 at the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, nice.
And just the dirty mix there. Hey, y'all. And we didn't have scanners.
Really?
Yeah, I was punch numbers in.
I was handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. I had the price gun. Man, I use that obviously in stock groceries and stuff, and yeah. But I will tell you that there were many cashiers that made a lot of side money, not ringing everybody up because you just rang something up, but 50 cents, $1.
I only worked there for like a couple weeks, and I just stopped going. I worked at Pizza Hut technically for one day. I went to like the training thing, and
did you watch the video
for 4 hours? It was a 4-hour training, and they were supposed to pay me for that $20. I never got it, and I just never showed up for work. I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
You got free training, bro.
Then I worked at a gas station, and I got in trouble there because I was selling all my buddy cigarettes, underage. And then I worked at Dollar Tree, and I worked at Dollar Tree for a long time. Like that was my longest running job, and it was probably like 6 months, 8 months.
See, that seems to me like it would be more hectic than a grocery store.
But I just did stock. It was just.
I know
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
There's less pressure. Like you have to stock shit, but like you don't have to deal with people. I think.
Yeah, I guess.
And most of that shit was like baskets. So you just dump the box in the fucking basket and you like move on. But like and then I started working on loading dock, which was like a 9 to 5. I've been working a 9 to 5. I worked a 9 to 5 like regular job from the time I was 18 until I got my job now, which is shift work, which was when I was 26. So 18 to 26, I had a job, and then I went to shift work. I've always been like, I never worked like long-term retail or something where they can like keep you at a place for fucking 47 days or whatever without sort of any mercy.
Yeah.
I got offered a full-time job this week. I turned it down.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Tell you, man, the job market right now is bananas. If you have any sort of skill set, there's people out there wanting to pay you money for it. And even if you don't, I'm just saying there's a lot of entry-level jobs. There's a lot of entry-level jobs you can do if you have a computer at home.
Right.
It's
true. Chris, how was your nerd week?
It was interesting.
Okay.
Kelly and I went out this weekend and we did a little night away from the kids.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we went to medieval times.
Oh hell yeah! I like medieval times, man. People
it's not for me.
It was a great.
Yes.
It was a great time. It is.
It's a dinner and show, bro.
It is, and the dinner's not great, and the show's not great, but the experience.
Yes. Have you never done it before?
I had not done that one. I had done a pirate themed kind of thing in Myrtle Beach.
Oh really?
I think Dolly Parton owns it or some shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was. There was obviously they have a pirate ship they can do stunts off of and stuff. I mean, this was a lot of horse related nonsense.
You got chicken and a rib and a potato.
Well,
half a potato.
I didn't get a rib this time. They did. They had sausages, which were good. And then they gave us eclairs for dessert. And the logistics of this is batshit crazy because they bring you like your tomato soup.
Yep.
And it's literally in like a thermos.
It's the same menu for the last 50 years.
Then they bring you a piece of garlic bread.
Yep.
Then they bring you your half chicken. Then they bring you your potato and your sausage. And it's like, this was crazy. There was people next to us that it started at 7. They got there at 7:45 and sat down. And the food service was basically over. But they brought them out a whole plate of food all at once. I'm like, part of me thinks that would make a lot more sense for y'all to do that.
Well, it's to like, so you keep getting service throughout the show.
Yeah, I guess so. It took forever for the bar to come around. There was like 4, I'd say, I don't know, guys in their 20s that were, chanting. Like, we were you sit in your section and you're supposed to cheer for or our night sucked. I think he was like the newest guy. I mean, he didn't get any of the rings or any of that shit on the jousting but he was
it's real to you, damn it.
Well,
I think it's like wrestling, bro.
Exactly. So at the end of it, we're chanting. He's the black and white knight. So and the kids in front of us are doing black and white knight, clap, 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 clap. And the Green Knight beats our guy. So we're booing the hell. We're just giving this guy hell. And he's looking up at us like, I think he probably likes that we're that participatory.
Right.
But when, he came out at first, he's got the whole like forest knight gimmick, and he's got like antlers on his helmet, and there's a deer on his shirt.
Oh, great.
So I started, "Where's your antlers?" And the entire section was chanting at him, and he was looking at them like, "What is wrong with y'all?"
Where's your antlers?
But at the end of it, it turns into pro. The best part's at the end when they're just like, fake fighting. They're sword fighting, and
that's the part
somebody's got a mace and all this shit.
Did they have the falcon?
And they had the falconer
Falcon's
there.
cool.
Yeah, the falcon.
And the horse is like prancing is all right.
Yeah. All I think about is, man, what have they done to these animals that they're so fearful that they do this with their little arms? And I don't know. And like this sounds awful. The woman who played like the queen or whatever,
princess,
she just was not attractive.
That matters. All right, that does matter. I've thought that before. It's not the same person.
I'll be honest with you. And look, I get it. You're putting on a show. Get her a wig. She needed. Better hair, because her hair looked just like the guy that stands beside her, and the audio was kind of shit in there because you couldn't really make out what anybody was. Well, everyone talks like this, anyways.
Yeah, character, bro.
I guess
meth. Oh yeah, there's probably meth going on in medieval times too.
Yeah, down in Anne Arundel County, a little Pasadena action, maybe so. Dirty Bernie.
Let's see what else did I do.
I went once. I've
been several times.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a fun experience.
You know how I would describe it? It was all a bit much.
So they still had.
There's like certain people in my row that are like super into it.
Yeah,
like yelling at the waitress like, "Winch, more mead."
That's too much.
That's a bit. I'll yell at the people that are performing, but I don't want to yell at this poor guy. And when it comes time to tip, they lay down their card, and I got Venmo, I got Cash App, I got PayPal, Square, or you can just leave. I mean, I think Kelly used Venmo, maybe. I don't know. Send him $20 or whatever. But I was like, it just seems very like off the radar of what like they're gathering that money. But it's cool that they're not making them like pull tips or anything.
Right.
Watched on Hulu. I think I saw the preview for it. It's a movie called Princess. It's a new on Hulu. All right, picture this. There's a tower and there's a princess in the top.
Okay.
All right.
I'm tracking.
Okay.
I'm familiar with this trope.
Yes. Well, she's being forced into a marriage by this. She was supposed to marry this guy, and she ran. She didn't want to marry him. At the ceremony, she ran away.
Okay.
Lord so-and-so, because her father didn't have an heir.
Okay.
So this was going to solve that problem. Well, she gets locked in the tower because, now the guy that she was supposed to marry has rounded up everybody and is, going to start beheading people. Okay, let's imagine that this princess all of a sudden has John Wick's skill set.
Oh,
but no guns.
Amazing.
And she fights her way down.
I'm in it. Who is this princess? Which key grip?
I think it's a girl. There was a show. I don't know. I think I've seen her in one other like streaming show before. I mean, there's no one of consequence you've ever heard of that I've ever heard of in this thing. It's
you don't say.
Bobby would hate it. You would love it, Joe.
It sounds like something
it is the funnest of fun romps.
Is it a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's like maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. The plot's trash. I mean, there's so many holes in it. But they're running around this castle, and she grew up in this castle. She knows all the secret ways, and they never explain any of this. But there's this Asian girl and this Asian man who have taught her how to fight.
Oh, perfect.
So that's why. And she's and then they get involved in the fighting too, and.
Why haven't I seen this already?
I think it just came out. Okay. It's on Hulu.
I'll be just watching it right after this.
Yes. A lot of cool castle ideas. That's one reason I watch it. We started watching this other movie, and I couldn't get through. Just like the Korean space thing that I couldn't get a hold of. It's called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It's got Kylo Ren in it.
Okay, I'm interested. I'm interested.
And it's by Terry Gilliam, who did all the Monty Python shit.
Oh, okay.
Are you still in?
I don't know anymore.
Yeah. That's really hit or miss.
Yeah, I don't know if I won Goofy Kylo Ren.
I couldn't do it.
I saw episode 9 already.
Exactly. This was so like Kylo Ren plays a director, and he's directing a commercial, although they never really explain that, about something about Don Quixote. And then 10 years prior, he had done like his like graduate film or whatever, basically called whatever the Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and he found this like local cobbler guy to play Don Quixote. Well, this is 10 years
I feel
later.
like you like to say Quixote.
And he comes back 10 years later. Long story short, finds out this guy's basically, he thinks he is Don Quixote now and just wanders around as like kind of like a cult hero. I don't know. I gave up on it. Like, I didn't think it was good. And my wife,
I guess like too highbrow for you.
I went to bed, and she stayed up and watched it, I guess, and she was asleep when I got up. So we have our ships haven't crossed since then. So I can report back on that. I watched, I think, the finale of the Mayan season, whatever they're in. God, that show is so fucking depressing. Yeah. But I still want to watch it because I want to see where the characters
tragedy,
because they've built a lot of good characters. There's some really good parts.
They call those misery porn. Those kind of shows where like you just makes you really upset and sad. Oh, and that in the lingo of people I talk with.
Yeah.
I think I think I just like relating to, like just trials and tribulations. I'm like, man, like I think it calls back to experiences in my life that like I think. When people talk about like, oh, well, there's finally a show about people from Finland. So now as a Finnish person, I can actually relate to something. And I'm like, bullshit. I don't believe any of this dumb shit. I think with that experience is where I draw those connections. So not that I've had this awful life or anything, but I have had these like very tumultuous like moments. And
your mom beat your ass.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's just where she started. So I think that like that's what I relate to. Is like characters in tough spots and maneuvering through it. I think is where I connect.
Yep. A couple wrestling things. Money in the Bank. WWE had their Money in the Bank pay-per-view this weekend.
Shawty, what you drank?
Shawty, what you drank? And I guess I should probably explain what the Money in the Bank match is. So they've been doing this for quite a while. Now they do a men's match and a women's match. Basically, it's a ladder match, and at the top of the ladder is a briefcase, and with that briefcase, you can cash in a contract for a title whenever you want.
Oh,
so it adds a layer of intrigue into it. So, Liv Morgan won the women's briefcase, and then that same night cashed it in and beat Ronda Rousey after her match with Natalya, and now she won the championship. It's always cool to see that happen, especially, I mean, Liv Morgan's, she's really talented, but I'm surprised they even gave her this shot, to be honest. And she won't hold that belt long, but it's just a nice thing, I guess. And a lot of the time, if you sign, well, a lot of the time, if they sign, some of these people sign an extension on their contract, part of it is title. We'll hold title for 30 days or longer or something like that. They'll build it in there. That's sometimes these random ass people get a push all of a sudden. It's because they re-signed their contract. The men's match was won by this guy named Theory. He's a newer guy. It was a really crazy match. There's some fun spots, and the highlight match of the night was the Street Profits versus the Usos for the undisputed.
That sounds like a movie I would want to watch.
Well, one of the guys that's in the Street Profits, Montez Ford, that dude's he's probably put on 20 pounds of muscle in the past year, and he looks like a beast.
You just need 15.
Yeah,
15 is all.
I have a feeling, and I said it.
Don't get me. You're going to be worked up today. It's Independence Day. I'm trying to be independent.
he's got I mean, rock style charisma on top of being super athletic. So you know, I foresee him ditching his tag team partner pretty soon.
Damn.
The other thing was last Wednesday. I know I mentioned it when Dante was here last week. That AEW's Blood and Guts event, the double cage I was telling you about. There's a lot of long-term storytelling AEW does very well. Sometimes it happens on top of a cage after they've already thrown someone off. But let me lay this scenario out for you because you'll probably appreciate this.
Lay it.
So Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston.
He is from the Bible, I believe.
Maybe one of those people is. Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston have been at each other's throats for months.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This was finally the opportunity for Eddie Kingston to get his hands on Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. It gets better. So Claudio Castagnoli, I talked about him last week. He just signed with AEW. Him and Eddie Kingston have a very long, complicated history from years and years gone by. So Eddie's like not really cool with Claudio being there and being on his team for this, but it is what it is. So on the roof of the cage is Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, and then Claudio Castagnoli and another guy named, I believe his name is Matt Menard. So they both got these guys in like submission holds, right?
Okay.
And Kingston's whole goal here is that he's going to beat Jericho. And Claudio's guy taps out before Chris Jericho taps out. So he doesn't get his win.
He doesn't get to beat.
They should beat his ass.
It's like a technicality.
So now there's this tension on these guys that are having to be on the same. It's just great storytelling. It's just long term, like, I don't know. I say it every week. It's such a great time to be a wrestling fan. I'm
happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you.
I remember them doing those ladder matches with briefcases like I was a kid, but they used to beat each other with the suitcases too. They're like metal suitcases.
I remember fold-up chairs were a big part of it.
They were. A lot of concussions because of that.
And tables. A lot of tables.
Tables, ladders, and chairs. They have a whole pay-per-view called the TLC match.
You can't fake hitting someone with a ladder, bro.
But aluminum ladders aren't. I mean, yes, I've seen some people get really fucked up, but I mean, at the same time, it's aluminum.
Nobody didn't get hurt.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Nobody
all getting smashed with those metal fucking suitcases.
And I'll tell you, like being in like a rumble kind of match is always like was always terrifying to me because I can focus on, what's going on with you, but Bobby, you may be over here with somebody else doing your little dance. And I mean, I might back into you and break somebody. There's so many things you do that. And then you add, don't do that.
The Trump did.
Do that. Yeah.
That looks like Bukkake.
I know, but it is a funny little.
Or that, what was that? The one you were showing me earlier?
Getting sturdy.
The Russian high kick thing.
Oh yes.
But then you add ladders into the match. And I'm like, I just watch these matches and cringe. I'm like, please. That's probably why. It's probably the torture porn thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Joseph?
Times. I caught up watching everything that everybody else watched for like weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
So you watched Obi-Wan?
Yes.
I forgot one thing. Watch The Boys, but we can get to that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't catch up. I watched The Boys and I watched Doctor Strange and I watched Obi-Wan over this.
Okay, so thoughts, deep dives. Give me it. Hot takes.
Okay. On both of them, I have a similar feel of I like the world that I've been living in for a long time.
Right.
I like these characters.
Right.
I like their acting, and I believe those characters, but I don't like the story.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm in a conflicted space where I'm like, I enjoy it, but I don't. Whereas you probably don't enjoy it at all. Like, I enjoy seeing these characters do things, right? Like, I know you guys do things.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Right? But I don't like what the direction of the story.
It's like you have a get together and with some of your favorite people, but then they act like bumps on a log when they come over.
Yes.
It's like you order your favorite pizza, but they've changed the pepperoni and it's not good anymore, but it's still pizza.
Or you ordered your favorite pizza and you have COVID and you can't use your taste buds.
And everything just smells like burning. So, like, specifically with Dr.
Like Anakin.
Specifically with Dr. Strange, just like, I really hated it. I really hated it because I like Scarlet Witch.
So
her character in the MCU, I really hate what they did with her.
So Robert D thinks that Scarlet Witch in general is the most mishandled character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he might be right. I'd have to go back and really think about it.
Long-term character, anyway, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's been fine till now.
Yeah, it's been fine, but it hasn't been taken advantage of. There's like there's so much to do with her, and she's kind of just a backup dancer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they show. I mean, yeah, she had the book powered up, but it shows like the kind of power level she can be. Just like when they said Iceman can be Omega level mutant if there was enough water in the air.
If
you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Because that Omega level mutant setting is like that's like Magneto.
And I think he's still
level.
Considered an Omega level
Yeah,
mutant.
if only he can get out of his own way in his head.
And she is too, right? She's
Yeah. I mean, she's reality bender. Like you can't really beat that. But
Right.
I hate what they did. I like a lot of, I don't know, their scenes are cool and there are things that happens that are cool, but overall just fucking flush it.
it's got some really good parts,
Yes.
Joe.
I don't know if it does.
I mean, just Professor X rolling out in the yellow chair with the fucking theme is like
that was good. But I'll tell you, like I always found it interesting.
It wasn't spoiled for me. I didn't know that.
And which is nice because we tried, when we were talking about it to not.
But I didn't see it anywhere on the internet either. But I guess I'm pretty good at staying away from that shit.
But like, well, I don't think people are really talking about this movie. Like I haven't seen a whole lot about it in general about Doctor Strange.
I mean, it's on to the next thing, I guess.
But I mean, even when it came out,
Yeah.
like I didn't see a whole bunch of like pictures, and usually people post a whole ton of shit just around the momentum of it.
I like the meme where they showed the Illuminati, and except like the title is Suicide Squad. that's a really good one.
But like I'll tell you, like in our theater, I'll never forget like when people applauded more for Reed Richards than they did for Professor X.
Yeah.
It just seems
that just shows our age, maybe. I don't know.
I think it has to do with the popularity of that actor in that role.
Yeah,
I think it was like a fan choice kind of thing.
But I also know that Fantastic Four is extremely popular overall.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. Everyone always talks about Fantastic Four. Where's my Fantastic Four movie? I don't know either because I'm not a huge fan of Fantastic Four.
I don't think they're more popular than the X-Men.
No, not by far.
But like,
I feel like they're the next best thing though.
Man,
in that culture,
I don't know.
Seems like it.
The
culture,
like Jisk is out on all Marvel movies.
This out. You know how like what Endgame did for you?
Yeah.
This might have done it for me. Like I really don't.
It's awful. It's awful, and the fact that like it's like thankfully like there have been in my circle, but that like that the public outcry about just how bad it isn't as vocal as it should be, but it's like simmering. It's like when you're trying to boil the water for pasta and the little bubbles start popping up. Shows me like the kind of fucking Stockholm syndrome I think a lot of Marvel fans are in.
And I think with the framework that they have, even the overall story arc could have been. I think for me, the story itself was more or less okay. Like what happens, I think the Scarlet Witch part really fucked me up. If it was somebody else, right, that was a villain that had the same arc with the multi-dimensional traveling girl and stuff, like I think I would have been on board. Like
Right.
You just took a character I really enjoy, especially after WandaVision, and showing that she had growth, and then just fucking threw it out the window.
Yep.
Why?
Because they can't. Because the TV shows don't matter.
And this reminds me part of what the problem I have with the written comic book. It's like arcs are like that, where it just fucking jarring character change, and then what happened before doesn't matter. I like Doctor Strange's his own personal arc. Like he has some growth and some trials and tribulation, and realizing he's just not meant to be happy. And then Zombie Strange was cool. I like Zombie Strange.
Yeah,
Sam Raimi as fuck, man.
Yeah, and it's just like
it's like a callback to Marvel Zombies and
but it's also just that dude.
That's how he rolls.
That dude's just into zombies
and anything. Yeah.
What else did he do? That
the Evil Dead movies.
He did Evil Dead movies?
Yeah, that's how he made himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then
but those are campy.
Well, okay, let's talk about Campy. It wasn't
Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead was,
Let's talk about Campy. He did the
Spider-Man
Tobey
3?
Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
But I never went back to watch 2 because I always, in my mind, it was good, but you said don't go back.
Yeah.
And 1 was fine, I think, for its time because there wasn't any other one.
You know what's funny? I did not like 1.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
At the time. Adam and I saw it. He had already seen it one time prior. I think he saw it the day it came out, and then I ended up going up there on a Saturday and watched it. I remember he cried during it, like during Uncle Ben's death, it just resonated for him. And I remember thinking, I was like, this isn't having the same impact for me. And then by the time they showed the Green Goblin suit, that's when I was like, fuck this movie, fuck everything. I couldn't back it. I couldn't buy in.
Goblin, the helmet was a little bit goofy, but like also more or less okay, I guess.
I don't know. Just the whole...
At the time, like we didn't have too much to compare to with X-Men, I think.
Yeah. And then Kenobi.
I like the little batteries not included droid, only because it reminds me of batteries not included.
Right.
I like the movie a lot. This little UFO aliens.
I want to watch that movie again. I don't like that movie, but it might be an irrational reason. My dad said, we're going to go see a movie today that I think you really want to see. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was Back to the Future 2.
Oh.
But it was that.
So it's tainted.
I think it might be tainted. I want to go in with a fresh lens at some point.
I watch it with you. I haven't seen it in probably 15 years.
Yeah.
I remember liking it, but we all know like things you think you like or didn't like doesn't necessarily hold up either way.
That's exactly right.
I think Princess Leia, we looked it up because we're like, she's not 10. She's like so small, but she's like actually a 10-year-old in real life, but she's so runty. She's like the size of a pumpkin.
Yeah. A pumpkin.
We're thinking about like kids. Who do we know?
Well,
we know 10-year-olds. They're not that small.
Yeah.
But it's just malnutrition or something. They didn't have like enough vitamins on all.
It's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Power level inconsistency, which is always going to be a problem, even since prequels, because we had the original, right? Mm-hmm. Like the power levels just don't. There's, I don't know, continuity wise.
Yeah.
Like you go from prequels to this, and then to the original trilogy
and Clone Wars
and even Clone Wars, they were pretty powerful in Clone Wars.
But that's what I'm saying is that like I think they're more powerful in Clone Wars than they are in the prequels.
Yes,
and then they're obviously less powerful in the original trilogy, and then then Palpatine is electric boogie woogie woogie.
but I guess that's the thing. Episode 9 power levels are more on par with this.
Yeah,
with like teleporting objects between space.
Yeah,
right? But like the original trilogy force powers just don't hold up anymore. Like it's not the same unless you just say the force is fucking weaker at this timeline.
Well, I always look at it as Vader's older in the original trilogy, and more machine now than man, so weaker. It's just in general.
He's always. Since he's been Vader, he's been the same build.
Yes, but in my head, it's that plus age, and Obi-Wan's old. Yeah, and he doesn't have. He's not. And then he's
not agile anymore.
And then Luke is the only example that we have of someone learning the Force as an adult. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have the same skill set either as all these other people that were like, trained as children.
They kind of like lost,
right?
Lost arts.
Yes, exactly. It's how I justify it in my mind.
That makes sense because like enough like traditional like Chinese or Hong Kong like kung fu movies, they say people used to be able to like do Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff, except like they didn't pass those skills on, so now we can't do it anymore. That's like the myth
canon. Gotcha.
Yeah. I really like seeing Liam Neeson's at the end. Like that's the thing, like I'm trying to figure like are these nostalgia feels things getting me because it works, or are they actually good for the story?
I think that like
and then Obi-Wan, hello there.
Yeah.
And both me and Chris was like, General Kenobi, and then she started swinging her hands around like Grievous.
I think that Qui-Gon bit was really, it feels shoehorned to me. Like I feel like it should have been more of an overarching thing to the whole story, was him trying to connect.
Well, he cut off from the Force. He didn't use the Force for 10 years. That's why he couldn't talk to. He kept calling out for him.
And
like,
I get
you weren't
that.
touching the Force. Like, how are you going to talk to him?
I get that, but I don't think that should have been the way that it was. I think that's a mistake. Like, or just don't include Qui-Gon at all. But I think having him pop up at the end, it was almost, I don't know. It was like it's like you didn't get the sundae with the cherry on top. Mm-hmm. And then in the very last second, right before you're getting ready to walk out the restaurant, they just hand you the whole sundae with the cherry on top already, all in one. Like, in here, have a bite on your way out. And it felt like that to me.
I mean, I can't wait to get the blue figure with the glitter robe, like they do for all the Legos.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, overall, it was okay. I enjoyed it enough. I enjoyed the story arc enough. I like the other villains, like just not the main chick.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And what's funny, man, is
they try to give her an arc, but it was too late. They gave her all that. He tried to give her a whole ass backstory at the last 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't care at this point.
I agree. Did you see? Have you seen that meme that's like, where Obi-Wan's like, you don't have to be who they tell you to be. You can be your own person. And then she's like, I'm Reva Skywalker. So good. I had a Force sensitive conversation with those guys on Friday. It was me and Esteban and Gort and Kylie, Tyler was on it. Like, it was a bunch of people on there having a kind of roundtable discussion about Kenobi and then the state of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I published it on Patreon today. It's a very good conversation, but I lost my temper a couple of times at just how upset some things make me, specifically in this show.
Like what?
So,
just give a brief glimpse.
Vader saying, "You didn't kill me, I killed me."
Well, Vader said, "Kill Anakin."
Right. Well, yes.
But because you're supposed to look at them as different people.
Right. Not really. Obi-Wan, you got to own some of that. And to not lean into that, to not say, like, look, you took this fucking kid from his fucking planet, from his fucking mother. You refuse to do anything about the mother. You never wanted to train him in the first place. You made that crystal clear. You took him from this nice, warm planet and you threw him into this cold room with a bunch of people he's never seen before to just sit there and judge him and try to keep him out of it for so long that his whole fucking life he feels like he doesn't have a place to belong and that no one really wants him to be there. To include at the very end when he's obviously like the most skilled Jedi that we particularly see this from the Clone Wars, but he's obviously the most skilled Jedi on the team and they won't let him become a master just because they don't trust him. He has to deal with all of this shit. You got to own a piece of that.
I mean, he did though. He's been living for. It seems like he's for the past 10 years. That's his life regret. That
no. I'm not talking about how Obi-Wan feels. I'm talking about how Anakin feels. And I think it's much more interesting to make that point than to just say, "I kill me." I have a lot of problem with the dialogue at that end scene. I think
maybe is it an interpretation thing? Because I didn't see it that way. I guess.
What do you think he meant by that?
This is who I really am. This is the better me. Like that other guy, he sucked. I killed him. He's done. Like Anakin Skywalker was not.
Yeah, but he's talking about blame. It's specifically about blame.
Maybe I'm not looking into this shit as hard as you do, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's about blame. I don't think it's...
No, he says like it's not about you. Like it's about responsibility. Mm-hmm. That is the core of it. And then he says, but it's not about you. It's about me. I did this. But I thought
it was like an empowering thing. Like,
I think there's far more depth to those two characters and their lives than that show had any concept of. And they don't want to dig it up. It's like, because they may not even know.
Yeah. Like I said, it might be an interpretation thing. Because I think some of the things, because lines can be vague or like intentions can be vague. So we could just be reading into it differently. But there's no way to have, I don't know. There's no way to have a satisfying conversation between them. I don't think having episode 4 be there.
I don't know. I disagree. I think that there is stuff to do, and I've had this discussion a few times now. But I think Qui-Gon should have been a part of that conversation. He has
responsibility too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what better I don't know. I don't want to just retread things
because you had this conversation.
But yeah, and we talked about it last week too. But I think it's a wasted opportunity to not have Qui-Gon intervene in that conflict between those two. Not physically intervene, like you guys push them apart, but verbally, weigh in. And then there's other clunky ass fucking shit in that.
There's the whole laser gate that they could walk around.
Yeah. Remember I said it's stupid.
It was stupid. You even if you didn't say anything, I'm like, you could just walk around.
Well, yeah, go another way. It's like a big wide open desert. Just go right.
I just want to know when we're going to get a Star Wars show that doesn't revolve around dragging some child around the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
Children of the future, bro.
Then the
I guess
that fucking
fuck them kids.
That's how I feel.
What did he say?
Don't have none.
Fucking Obi-Wan on that planet. He goes to that planet, right? And that Vader goes after him to that planet.
The cyberpunk planet?
No,
Desert Planet 4.
it's like a different desert planet.
Yeah.
And then when Vader shows up, he's like, "Did you come here to destroy me?"
It's like, bro.
Motherfucker, I'm on
that's cool.
vacation.
Yeah.
You came here. What did you come here for? I came here to sit.
I came here to eat mollusks.
I'm doing.
To eat mollusks and drink fruity drinks.
It's a meme, but like Vader is like a very melodramatic, overly, I don't know.
But he's not.
It's just like him standing on top of a TIE fighter to come down to like. There's a whole ass thing about how he's just a fucking drama queen. The theatrics of him is ridiculous.
You're right, and I think he is a drama queen.
So
I think if we're trying to justify him saying to someone else as he comes to him that you came to me, on the strength of him being a drama queen, I think is at best giving leniency.
I mean, Obi-Wan also went off to face him, right?
Well, he went off with the assumption, but it's just grammatically incorrect. You know what I mean? Like that's my issue with it. It's nonsensical. It
reminds me of Transformers dialogue.
Vader might be theatrical and he might go to fight him, riding a Star Destroyer all the way in.
Yep.
But he's not going to ride the Star Destroyer all the way in and then be like, "What a long walk."
My arms. I flew here from the Death Star.
That's my issue.
And boy, are my arms tired.
That's my issue. It's just like that doesn't make sense. And like I felt like a lot of that dialogue was like, it was
on par with Star Wars dialogue,
but not when it matters.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, gave it because of the enjoyment with all of its flaws and faults and whatever. I still give it a B, just from how much I enjoyed it.
Oh wow,
I gave it a B.
Yeah, it's not stellar,
but it's Star Wars. I mean, it's Star Wars content.
It's Interstellar.
I think about that movie. Kind of haunts me.
Yeah,
I think about that movie all the time.
That is how time works, but that's not how black holes work, as far as we know, anyway.
No, we don't know anything.
It's all simulation. It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I gave it a C, and only reason why I give it a C is because I do think it's palatable. It's just like it's water. It's like.
I mean, it just feels good to see some of these characters in their role and doing well.
Yeah,
like again, this probably just nostalgia feels, but seeing these actors in these roles being those characters and believable, like Owen's great, Bruce great, like all those, like Organo's great, they're all fucking great.
Yeah.
So it gives me the continuity that I crave in long form storytelling.
Yeah. I just need it to matter.
I like that they gave the Inquisitor with like the Raiden hat and made him an Asian guy. That's pretty cool.
It's the guy from Fast and Furious.
Is he? It's like Asian guy with the Asian hat. Inquisitor.
I call it a new twist on an old classic.
But like I like the hat guy and the Ripley head guy. I think they're both great.
I like the look of that one female Twilight
with
orange.
the little,
I'm
she's cool, but she's not in it. She doesn't have too much dialogue.
Well, that's what I'm like. I'm like the coolest looking one to me.
I like Big Head.
I
liked his acting. I like
yes. So I liked his acting
voice.
Too. I just don't like the head, so to speak. The head
is
just
alien. It didn't seem that crazy to me.
But like
he's not the coolest looking.
But like so the guy in episode 3, same species.
Guy in episode 3.
There are third level hundreds of battle droids.
Oh yeah, like Mouth of Sauron guy.
Yeah, he doesn't look goofy.
Oh, he was skinny though. Maybe this guy's just
the Grand Inquisitor. No, the Grand Inquisitor,
chunky boy.
He's supposed to be. I mean, in Rebels, he's skinny also.
Everybody's skinny in Rebels.
That's true.
That's like everybody went. All right, you got the design. No, we're gonna go and pull him up. But
I'm not even talking about like body weight. I'm talking about like his that dude in that show looks like he's wearing a fucking prosthetic thing over top of his head. Whereas, like, it looks like, that dude's got a luscious head of hair underneath that Humpty Dumpty ass head. Whereas that dude in dude,
maybe it's
a lot of this might be a budget thing with me, man, because it doesn't look cinematic either. The whole fucking show doesn't look cinematic,
but also like that makeup on that guy didn't bother me. Like, it didn't take me out of suspension of disbelief.
They're filming all this in the volume, and that's the only way they're able to afford to make that. Because otherwise, this shit would cost. There's no way these shows would get made for the budget that they have.
Well,
so
Cassian's not though.
It didn't seem low budget to me.
No. It's on a soundstage in England.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, this doesn't seem low budget to me, though.
I haven't seen that yet.
Huh? So I said this it might not be cinematic, but it didn't seem low budget to me either. It didn't.
It doesn't seem low budget, but it looks less. I don't know. It's like you got a whole bunch of money, but you spent it on Kirkland. Like, it's just like
Kirkland's good, man.
Like, it just looks like
hi bye Kirkland.
It just looks less. Like it looks like there's money that went into it. It's like just spent in the wrong places. Because the costumes look weird. A lot of the costumes look weird.
None of that stuff. And usually I pick that stuff out because like I look at costumes and makeup.
We were talking about like just like the way that the Inquisitor, a lot of the Inquisitors move, particularly the Grand Inquisitor. Like, you can tell like the armor has no give, where like a lot of the other armor, like even like the 501st and stuff, it's just more thought out. Where there's more
stretchy parts,
fluidity, I guess,
articulation. But like Vader's suit has always been like that since the first one. You can't really turn your head, can't really raise your arms, but like you just make do with what your design is there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's obviously not like that in the show,
right? But like, so none of it seemed off to me that I could tell. Like, and I that's like I said, it's weird because like having the cosplay background, me and Krista often looks harsh, like hard, like pick apart costumes, how they were made and stuff like that, and it didn't bother me.
Yeah, it seems like I would never mistaken this. So like the Boys, if I didn't know any better, I could walk into a Boys episode and ask, what movie is this?
Yeah.
I would never mistaken this Obi-Wan show for a movie. It always looks like
I don't think they're trying to make it. I mean, I don't think that's
not the
feel
they're going for.
They're not trying to make it.
That doesn't seem like it anyway.
I don't think they have the budget to do that. I think you're right about the budget part.
I think they have the budget. I really do. Like, I mean,
it's Disney.
It's Disney and it's Star Wars. It's like,
as Obi-Wan,
the money's there.
You think they would give Obi-Wan more money than anything they give money to?
Yeah,
but anyway,
we're getting more. So
more what Obi-Wan?
Well, it changed from a limited series to a season finale.
Yeah.
What?
The last episode, it changed from a limited series to a season finale.
I mean, I'll watch more Obi-Wan, bro.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm looking forward to Ahsoka whenever that comes out. Does that come out next soon?
I don't know. Cassian's the next one, and after that, I'm not sure. Or Andor, whatever. Is it Andor or Cassian? What's the name?
Andor, I think, is the name of the show.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's going to be more Mandalorian at some point?
Yeah.
I still haven't been able to fucking make myself watch Boba Fett, man.
It's like 3 episodes you should watch if you want to keep up with the Mandalorian. Or you know what? Watch the first episode, and I'm sure they'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's probably true.
What else you got, Joe?
I went to the Rio. I didn't know there's a downtown Mount Airy. I went to the Rio, where the train is, where the train museum is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed. I had to go do BLS, Basic Life Saving course, because it's a re-up for it. And it was like inside of a restaurant after closing hours.
What restaurant?
I don't know. I think it's vegan.
Okay.
Whatever it is. Didn't look like I had a meat in there.
Not even Impossible Meats?
Bro, don't get me started.
I'm curious. Like,
I've had them before.
Just to try it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean...
Can you tell the difference?
No. I mean,
see, that's just what I want to experience.
I couldn't, but I'm like, why is this tofu bleeding? You know? Why did you make a fake hamburger that's bleeding?
Right, like that. Well, my thing has always been that. Like, if you don't, I get it. You don't want to eat animals. You don't want to hurt animals. Then stop pretending that you're eating animals.
That's the thing.
Just fucking be committed to your goddamn.
That's right. Eat mushrooms and
mushroom burgers.
Mushroom burgers. Portobello burgers, those are good.
Yeah. Just don't fucking pretend to eat meat if you think it's bad. Obviously, there's some merit to eating meat if you're gonna fucking pretend to eat meat. I guess
that's supposed to, if people want to ease off of meat.
But yeah, that was it's cool. There's several restaurants there.
Yeah, there's some decent restaurants. There's some pretty lousy ones down there too.
I'd like to have tell me which ones are good. I would like to try some. They have that nice parking lot.
I'll tell you later. Yeah, I don't want to put anybody on blast.
Yeah.
Why? I went to the Doghouse Beer Garden in Gaithersburg. They've been popping up on my Instagram since like COVID started, and I've been wanting to go. But
what is it?
It's the Doghouse, Haus, because I think it's German.
Yeah,
they have a lot of hot dogs, and you just reminded me because they have Impossible Burgers there. But I got the regular. I got the regular burger, chili cheese dog, chili cheese tots. Didn't get any beer though. But we happened to be in that area because I had to get new tires.
That's right. How was the chili and the cheese?
Pretty good. But like I didn't feel right for the rest of the day after that though.
No. A little gas.
But I don't have stomach problems. I don't know like what they put in their shit, but I just felt like bloated and unwell. So I don't think I'm gonna go back.
It's a combination of the
I think
cheese
maybe it's the bread. They don't use like hot dog buns. They use King Hawaiian rolls. Which is really good, but that was a lot of fucking bread because I got 3 hot dogs. So which was 9 Hawaiian rolls because it's 3 rolls per dog.
Maybe I think that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
you little glizzy gobbler.
You know. Oh shit! What time's the contest today? I always miss the hot dog.
Is it? Oh, is it today?
Today. Happy 4th if you didn't mean it.
Yeah, it is.
It's probably later today.
Explosion day.
Can't wait to see Joey Chestnut choke down 40 hot dogs in 15 minutes.
Yo!
Yeah, that's definitely an Ayo moment.
I found out more reasons to dislike Apple.
Okay. Oh.
So I was on iPad because I was drawing, and I went on Discord, and I tried to go to one of the servers I usually go to. Apple didn't let me. They were like adult servers, or like I guess it's not a porn server by any means. It's a game server, but like it's marked as adult. So iOS doesn't allow adult content to be displayed on iOS products. I'm like, oh, fuck yourself.
Really?
You're going to censor me on my fucking device on where I can go?
But that's not true.
It's definitely what it said to me.
I mean,
I know. I watch porn. I've definitely watched porn on the iPad.
Yeah.
But I guess specifically things that the content creator marked as adult.
No, because I have Reddits that are definitely marked not safe for work that I definitely look at all the time.
So this is the first time this happened to me. But just the fact, regardless.
It must be a Discord thing. With Apple.
It says, okay, but regardless, it is an Apple thing.
Yeah.
It is specifically, it says iOS.
Yeah.
So I'm going to blame Apple because it doesn't matter what else you don't censor. The fact that you do censor something, it's not okay with me.
I mean, everybody censors something, but some things we agree should be censored.
On the operating system?
No, but the internet in general. Like, you can't post child pornography on the internet. People do, but it's a fucking federal crime and you can go to fucking jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's like not the same thing I'm talking about, though, I think.
But it is censorship. That's the tricky thing, right? Is like,
well, censorship and law is 2 different things. I guess,
but it's not because like we're like, oh, you're okay with there, and so is the law okay with people eating mushrooms. On that's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but like that is like that's the thing about censorship, right? Is like I agree with you,
and also there's age restriction, right? I understand you have to be 18 plus to go here or there. Or whatever.
Censorship is wrong, mostly, but then there are extreme cases.
Yeah, but I can't imagine this case have any merit to why.
No, that you're probably right about that.
iOS telling me that
you're probably right about that.
I can't go to this place that you can go to on any other machine.
There's not a set. Is in your settings or anything.
I didn't bother to check. I looked around a little bit, but I didn't go deep.
Because I mean, Google, because like the biggest competitor like between Apple is Google.
Windows.
And Google censors, like, I don't know if censors is the right word, but Google restricts what I can do from an Apple product just because.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a brand competition.
Yeah,
thing,
they both do. So they try to lock out the consumer. Not saying that this circumstance was just a side conversation to it. Like they try to lock out the consumer by making them pick a side. Where it's like, I just want to use this because I enjoy this, and then use your features over here because I enjoy. I have nothing but Gmails. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, I don't like their devices.
Yeah.
So.
Just real quick before someone actually says, Joey Chestnut ate 76 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes last year.
What a champ.
And at noon today, it goes for 80.
I mean, like, do we watch these like we watch NASCAR? You just wait to see if someone's like stomach ruptures.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like it's doable.
Think about
you
that.
You can definitely
80?
rupture your stomach.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys train. These guys train for this.
Yeah, but still, like
These guys train.
I mean, they
Like,
do.
I know,
I'm sure they do. It just sounds
Guys been hitting
ridiculous.
glizzies for.
hey, Olympic trainer, the lifters train
And
for
they
that
blow
shit
their
too.
fucking
And
quads out, don't they? Yeah.
The entire arm fucking dislocates.
So hey, let's see what happens.
So NASCAR people drive in circles a lot.
They do.
But sometimes they still.
Yeah.
They definitely do.
And the podcast with Dante and Phil last Saturday. It was on Predators. I think we mostly stay on topic, kind of. Mm-hmm. But I also got rid of about 60 pounds worth of comic books because I forced it on them. They came in and I'm like, all right, you guys are here now. You can't leave this place with these comic books still in my house. I don't care how you split them up.
Right.
You're taking them with you. So after the podcast, they took time to like. I had like a long box and a bunch some good shit in there. Some of them had like $100 price tags on those fucking comic books. I just want them out of my house.
I did that recently with a big box of comics. Mason's buddies gotten into like digging through long box. I'm like, I said, Mason, pick out what you want if you want anything, and then give them to your friend because I just don't need that. That box is taking up more real estate than it's valued to me.
Yeah, and it's more valuable to them, whoever you're giving it to.
Oh, that kid was thrilled.
Yeah, I don't want to throw it. I hate throwing shit away. I even told them like, you can take this and go directly to the fucking dumpster. Don't tell me about it.
That's why we use that green drop shit.
Because it's donation. Yes.
Yeah, and like you just hit them up. And you, like I think that was all those bags out there today. Like, and you just sit it out on your porch and they just take it.
Bro, you should have told me. I would have thrown some of our bags. Krista's got a.
Now you got to let them know ahead of time, like how many bags or whatever.
Yeah, green drop. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's
I keep remembering it's green, but like, green what?
Really easy to just get rid of shit. You know, they have some rules and regulations as to what they'll take. But
No sex toys, Joe.
I mean, I wouldn't give away sex toys. I use them all.
But most stuff, they're pretty. I mean, there's some of the shit that they've taken. I'm like, really?
They might take it directly to the dumpster themselves. But
Yeah.
like,
I think there's 6 bags in the back of our car right now that we're going to take to Goodwill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those guys like comics.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I forced some like figures to them before. This is what I do slowly. Like every time Dante wants to do a podcast, I start collecting stuff together in a pile. Like, yeah, Dante, what day? Make sure your trunk's empty.
How was the Predators conversation?
Good.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I like to talk about Predator stuff.
Yeah.
And
Like to catch a predator?
we went.
Want some candy?
We actually talked about what's a celebrity death match of Chris Hansen versus a Predator.
The that franchise is really one that like it. I like. It's good. It's got all. So that is how I feel about Predator.
It's got some good parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel that way about Star Wars, but I feel that way. Like it. As soon as I started saying it, I almost said it. Like not related to your hashtag. Like I almost just said, like, you know, because it's got some good. I was like, holy shit, this is that for
This
me.
is that, yeah.
But yeah, like you know, particularly in 1 and 2, and then in Predators.
Yes.
But like that for me, it never really lands for me. Like in the same way that Aliens landed. Like it's like man, this is cool. I like these cool elements of it, but I don't love this.
There's not more to explore, and not more they're willing to explore.
Yes, I think
that's the problem.
I think so. I think that is the right diagnosis of that.
But like it's good in I think novel form and then other media form, just not in movies.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's about it. There were some comic books I forgot I had in the garage that I do need to give them next time they come over.
All right. The Boys, I'm up to date. It's still fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about it other than I'm on the edge of my seat with bated breath every fucking week waiting for an episode, and I haven't felt this way in God knows how long.
Right.
You know, it's the best media that I have consumed. It's the best fictional media that I have consumed on television, maybe ever.
Wow.
It's
really
really
good.
Good.
It's just, there's not a whole lot to say, but I mean, just every character's arc. It seems like nobody's getting left out. Like the shit with Noir and the Chuck E. Cheese place was just, you know, you didn't see that coming at all, but that dude's apparently pretty fucked in the head from all the Soldier Boy drama and
Slice
Soldier Boy?
yeah, just about.
That's Superman?
He does Superman them hoes.
He does. So slight spoiler, Joe. He goes to this Chuck E. Cheese that's like abandoned. It's not a Chuck E. Cheese, like Billy the Beaver or some shit. But like
Willy's Wonderland.
So the beaver, all the characters that are like painted on the wall, like in Disney style animation, come to life and start talking.
And the beaver has a stutter.
And the beaver has a fucking stutter. It's just like, it's little things like that I'm like, God damn, that shit is funny to me.
I mean, that was a clever way to reenact that scene.
Yeah.
And just
oh my God. It's
like,
beautiful.
without having to, show it. Like in his mind, it's these cartoon characters,
I can't say enough about it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Capital L. I mentioned this last week, but I did finish the Mormon documentary? The Keep Sweet.
Yep.
I quite enjoyed it. I mean, it's fucked, but I quite enjoyed it.
I don't think it's too long, not stretched out.
I think it could have been condensed.
I think you want to be an editor. You just want to cut shit down.
Yeah, I think it could have been condensed, but I didn't hate the experience, by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like I watched a director's cut of something. Do you know what I mean? Like
extra sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was good.
I had so many people messaging me like, "Bro, I was a Mormon."
Yeah,
like,
so me too.
People like a guy on Twitch who's a bodybuilder. And he's like, "Yeah, I grew up Mormon. I did not realize it was a cult."
But there are two different kinds. There's like the, just like there's like the Catholics and the Protestants and Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's like the fundamentalists, like the fundamental Latter-day Saints, which is this crew.
These people. Yeah.
And then there's like the other kind of live a normal life and just have these bizarre rituals and stuff that they take place.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I have, if anything, because I didn't have a whole lot.
I watched another episode of Webs of Deception. Like the first episode was about the fucking swatting. And yeah. The other one, I haven't finished it, but like they're all about something different.
Yeah. What was some of the other? Do you remember any of them?
One was about what was a grooming grooming girls to like start sending nudes when they were like really young, and then luring them away from the home. And
that sucks. So speaking of internet deception, I watched 3/4 of this documentary on HBO. I can't remember the name of it. It's a breakdown of the situation that happened between the 2016 campaign of presidential elections and Russia.
Oh, but the deception has something to do with that too, about the guy that got killed and then.
So what's interesting is like it goes back much further. Like it go like in their involvement, like they created like a bunch. Basically, they have this House of Trolls, I think is what they call it. It's like this these young kids that basically created fake websites, fake social media profiles, fake all this shit, and then they would tie so one hand washed the other. They would have this article, tie it back to this fake website that but now it looks real.
Yeah,
right.
There's a citation.
Yeah, and and basically their goal was really to just create beef, like social, disruption,
and it worked.
Yeah.
Horribly well.
What's interesting, like the amount of money, because like they talked about money going into and like that is true, but like it's because like this documentary crew like obviously feels like it's like first 9/11, now this, So sometimes they lean into shit where I'm like okay, well it's all right. We're talking about what I think it was like $10,000 or $12,000 or something. Like I was like, well then how much do campaign contributors put in?
Yeah.
Far more than that. So, I mean, are they Or are we blaming them for everything too? Because now we're getting a little, ridiculous. But what's fascinating to me about it is just the lengths to which they would go. Like, I read that, I said it years ago that I read this article called, I think it was called Weaponizing a Fandom, where the first like Raise a Mary Sue tweets and all that are all linked back to this like one Russian bot account. Once again, it was like to create disruption in fabrics of American culture, which Star Wars is like one of.
Right.
And they tied it back to like, they show a bunch of other things, and now I'm not going to be able to remember it, but I want to say Marvel, DC, like there's a bunch of different examples where like a lot of the roads lead to Moscow as opposed to Rome. But what else? There was like like it goes back. I think it starts in 2013 is when this group started.
Wow.
And Russia has of course denied it, but like everybody's like the CIA, FBI is like, oh yeah, they're part of this organization branch. Like we can track all of it to here. Like the GRA, they have like 2 CIAs. One's like more like RCIA, and then one is much more kind of bad, sinister,
clandestine.
GRA, I think, is it? Their symbol is the fucking bat symbol, basically over top of the globe.
Oh wow!
It's just like nothing.
Sounds on brand though.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, they basically they tie them to a lot of the WikiLeaks leak stuff. They tie them to some of the stuff that WikiLeaks leaked. It just happened to be stuff that was like with their agenda oftentimes, like, at times, specifically when Russia was looking out for that dude, and they basically, I mean, the same shit that happened that like gave Hillary the edge over Bernie. A lot of like the social media stuff comes from this organization, the House of Trolls, which, their argument is kind of like it could have been a very different couple of years there, like between, the all the issues that went down. Because you remember when the DNC was like a whole thing, there was like everybody was upset about something that happened in there, and then that's what led to, so all of that shit, like it was pretty fascinating. I'm only 3/4 of the way through it, and I too think that this probably could have been an hour-and-a-half movie. I'll give you a perfect example. There's this one guy, right? He's a Russian guy. He's a Russian guy. He was one of Trump's lead like designer, like building people, like for real estate, not politics.
Okay.
And he talks about going to this meeting, right? And he's like, this meeting that took place with Donald Trump Jr. and some of these, like, this is the one that got brought up during the Mueller trials and everything. Yeah. The thing is, like, nothing came. The reason why that shit failed at the, why he got acquitted is because they basically sat down at the table and the Russians were like, look, we got this, that's damning, and you can have it, but you got to come up off this. It's like some bill that Obama put in, like the Magnitsky law or some shit. It like had to do with trade, and they couldn't come up off that. So they basically didn't have a deal.
Damn.
But like it was funny because like this guy, like he was like this guy was like remembering the meeting. He's like, I mean, if I don't know why anybody would talk to anybody about that meeting other than to say how fucking boring it was, because I feel like they just didn't have any, like, it was like a stalemate. It's like, well, I can't. Well, yeah, I can't. But what if you did? Yeah, but I can't. So that was kind of interesting.
What are we having for lunch?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, when he's telling the story of going to the meeting, he was like, so my car pulled up and I got out, walked up to the front door, walked inside, got on the elevator, went upstairs, and I got to the meeting. And I'm just like, see, this is a perfect example where you could be like, so I got to the meeting. You could just start there. No one gives a shit about you walking through the front door. We all assume that. But anyway, that's just
unless you like, climb in through the ladder up top or something. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If it's something
no, you suction cups to climb
Tell
up
me
the
about
building,
it.
because he was a free climber or something.
And then the last bit is 89. I watched 89 Batman with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
We were just like in the mood to watch something fun. That movie still works, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and you know why I think it works? Because it's so detached from reality that it always seems timeless.
It's fantastical.
Yeah, it seemed fantastic in 89 and it seems fantastic in 22. And it both seems equally believable because it's so outrageous.
Yeah, it's like an alternate universe.
It's interesting. Like, I was like,
because the architecture and everything too.
Yeah, the whole thing is otherworldly.
It's not based on this reality.
I don't know if you guys ever watch, there's a channel on YouTube, it's Toy Galaxy, and they do like, the history of this, that, and the other. Normally toy related stuff, obviously. Well, he did 89 Batman, I think last week, and they were talking about how big of a, it was before the internet, obviously, but it would have been an internet scandal that Michael Douglas, this comedy actor, gets cast as Batman. And that's why they
Michael Keaton.
What did I say?
Yeah, Douglas.
Yeah, that's a whole different Batman, bro.
That would have been different. Michael Keaton.
Falling down Batman, though. Yes. It might work.
It might. And then they were talking about how that, the studio demanded a strong, second lead for the Joker, and then of course they ended up with Nicholson. And I can't remember. They ran down the list of other. But Robin Williams was really interested in it, but they wanted a bigger name than that at the time. Was Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson is perfect.
Yeah, I can't imagine I can't even imagine Robin Williams' Joker.
I remember there was talk of Robin Williams being the Riddler at some point.
Yeah.
That I could see more.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember the toys for that shit. Like it was. They only had 3. It was Batman with the belt,
Yep.
and Joker.
Yep.
That was just a repackaged. If memory serves, it was a repackaged superpowers Joker. And
this was back before anybody. And the Batman didn't look like it was. I think it was damn near the same Batman. They
was
just
very
tweaked
similar.
It and colored
Yeah.
it black. I mean, it looked nothing like anybody, and that was how it was back then.
and Bob
Bob the Goon. And that
Bob
was
the Goon.
Yep. And then, of course, after that, you got Arctic Blast Batman, underwear Batman, and
I remember
Peeping Tom Batman.
the Penguin during Batman Returns was a superpowers repaint. Also, it was kind of crazy what they got away with.
I mean,
that's just the way things were done.
Yeah.
Think about they used the Ewok village for the Willow.
Robin Hood.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, Sherwood Forest.
Sure thing.
I haven't seen that movie forever. I wonder if that holds up at all.
Willow?
No, Robin Hood.
Look into my eyes.
Dude, yeah.
I remember you could see Kevin Costner's butt, and it was a big deal back then.
I remember how when it was like, and unlike other Robin Hoods, I speak with a British accent.
Good stuff, man.
All right, and we only have one note, and I think that's it for my nerd week. The one note is R. Kelly got sentenced.
Oh yeah,
30 years.
That's real time.
Yeah.
When I say toot toot Robert, you say beep beep.
Yeah. Bro, that shit was.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not like
how long did you say?
I think it was 30 years.
I didn't even see it. I just saw the meme.
Is he gonna get out from technicality or some shit?
I don't know.
I don't know. If he does, I hope he does that Cosby dance on the way out.
Because Cosby's out, right?
Yeah. Cosby put up an Instagram post. I know I should.
He's on Instagram?
Yeah, I know I shouldn't find this funny, but I do. But I find it funny in a very like Joker, like watch the world burn kind of way. But like he put up this post on Instagram and he's like 2.5 years free or something. My wife says it looks good on me. Like it's just like so.
I'm just surprised no one's murdered him.
Yeah,
because like that's the kind of shit you get murdered for. I feel like in movies anyway.
Yeah. So R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in prison in sex trafficking case.
Wow. Well, hey.
Yeah. And I don't know, not to say about this, but a side conversation. When Evan was here last, he talked about like, what is something worth in time? And I think that's an interesting, I've thought about it ever since, where like, if you steal a candy, obviously you're not going to go to jail for that more than likely, but if you steal a candy bar from a store, what is the appropriate time to spend in prison for that charge, or
you steal a truckload of candy bars.
Right.
Yeah. What's the multiplicity on that?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's not necessarily a monetary value.
Yeah, right.
It's like what you did, the action.
The effect on others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but perhaps more should be considered.
Like monetary value?
Not that more monetary value should be considered, but that more should be considered than just the action, right?
I assume it is, right? Because like there's a guideline. I don't know about the fucking judicial system, but I think there's a guideline that what each crime is like. For this crime, is you can sentence 10 to 20 years, and that's up to the judge in the case to decide, right? And they have. I assume they are weighing all these things in their mind when they pass a judgment.
Yes,
what it is worth.
I'm saying I'm just saying that in general, not that it isn't happening, but just that things. There should be a multitude of things that are considered, like. I watched that documentary series, and I'm just being controversial here. I watched that documentary series.
Which one?
The R. Kelly one, the one that came out week to week. And the dude definitely took advantage of women and deserves to go to jail. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and rewatch it before, but I'm not sure. Like, if I was to say, like, what do I think he should go to jail for? Like, my brother looks like he's going to go to jail for half the time for killing someone. like, I'm not sure if that seems
more or less accidentally, though, right?
100% accident.
Because that's different than murder.
It's manslaughter.
Yeah.
So 100% accident.
Where he didn't accidentally take advantage of these girls.
No, not at all.
It was intent.
Not at all. But
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, just sentencing for having someone killed, whether it be murder or accidentally, always is, in my mind, like a hard thing.
I mean, there's
like,
people
you took someone's fucking life, especially with murder. Like, I don't see how you don't just get yours.
I mean, there's people doing 30 years
lost.
right now over weed charges.
Yeah. Right.
In a country where it's, I'm not going to say predominantly, but most states are looking at some sort of legality.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I don't know. To me, I was a bit surprised at the year. But I mean, it may be one of those things because it seems like sometimes you have to do half, and sometimes you have to do the whole thing.
Sometimes you just do like 3 months. I don't know how that works either. So
it works.
But also, I guess it also depends on the amount of victims, right? How many?
But I mean,
people, I don't know.
It might have been a cumulative.
Like each case is 2 years, and there was 15 people.
But I think there also needs to be something done with some of these parents. That knowingly knew what was going on and sent their daughters off to this man. Like, and that's not to take blame away from him.
No, this is additional blame.
It's additional blame. Correct.
Yeah. This responsibility because they're children. Right? So this is responsibility in all adults' accounts.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think age factors, like the person, like sentencing someone to 30 years at 30-year-old and sentencing someone to 30 years at a 60-year-old is not the same thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. One's a death sentence.
Yeah. Well, so like. I mean, I'm not a judge. I would hate to have to try and be a judge, but I assume if you're any kind of a decent human being as a judge, that all these things weigh in, and they'll probably weigh in on you. I can't imagine judging people day in and day out and not have it affect my like mental
and I never
health.
And I didn't sit in on the trial. There may have been shit that came out in the trial that I'd be like, oh yeah, fucking 30 years is what this dude. But I just from the outside looking in, I was like, damn. Like, I was expecting 15 to 20, maybe.
Yeah,
All right, and then just questions. So let's see here. Just a little slurp machine. All right, Ryan. Question for Joe.
Yo, what?
What's up, everybody? Was sitting around hearing all the other Ryans sending in emails, and I thought I'd try a quick one. I know this may be blasphemous to you, but I have come to the realization that I just don't like Star Wars. I've tried. I really have for many years, but I've started to realize that I am more into the possibilities of Star Wars than Star Wars itself. It just never gets there for me. Cool looking characters, spaceships, hand-to-hand combat, lightsabers should be my bag. But through that realization, I was thinking of comparable Japanese properties to Star Wars, seeing as anime seems to hit the spot for me. Is Gundam the Japanese equivalent of Star Wars? I don't know why I never thought about it, but it seems to be just as big a property over there and here as Star Wars is here and worldwide. And I can't lie and say I don't want to go see that Yokohama giant Gundam they built in person one day. And if they had a Gundam hotel or theme park like Disney has for Star Wars, which they likely do, I would contemplate going. The ultimate question on my email, in Joe's opinion, Bobby and Chris, you can say I'm wrong after, which is a better franchise, Gundam or Star Wars? Minister Ryan.
Better's
a weird word.
It's a weird word, especially because there is no Star Wars is unified. Star Wars universe, like it or not, it's one cohesive universe. Where you're talking about Gundam as a franchise is a multiple level marketing franchise.
Probably both.
You have 4 friends.
Yeah,
4 friends that like making money
because there's so many spin-off and just Gundam themed series. Like it's hard to compare, right? But they're both space operas. That's what They both have They have a lot of similarities in theme. They also both have laser swords, but one of them is wielded by a giant robot. But they have like psychic powers, basically the Force being the next evolution. They have a gray area of factions fighting each other. So they're comparable to me. That's one of the reasons I like Star Wars and Gundam. But I personally, at this point, I like Gundam more. I think, and there's more to choose from, right? With Star Wars, you can't be like, well, you could if you were into the EU, not East.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're like, well, I like these books, so I'm going to go with these. So you can't.
Got some good EU books right down there.
Like Coruscant Nights, those nights.
Yeah. Long nights,
long nights, dark nights.
They're about 5-year nights.
Yeah, I might need to borrow and read them again by the time you get around to it.
But you could do that, but in book form. Whereas Gundam, like there's a Gundam series for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally lived with someone who swore up and down they'll never have anything to do with Gundam ever. And then one came out that she loves.
Which one does she love?
Build Fighters. And then she has 30 fucking kids.
Nice.
So like there is Gundam for almost everybody. Unless you just got to
find
hate anime.
The problem is you got to find the right Gundam for you. I mean, how many series are out there? 30?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But there's also a main line cohesive universe. The Universal Century is the one that starts and it still continues throughout.
Okay.
They're the one with a number at the end. 0079. It's a year. So you can actually see which part of the story it is by the number.
And where's the RX-78 fit in all that?
RX-78 is the robot.
I know with the robot, but that's the original one?
Yeah.
And still the best one? Maybe.
Best in terms of...
I think it's the coolest looking.
It is very cool, but it's very...
It's the Optimus Prime of Gundam,
yeah, it's
right?
the lowest performing out of any of the other Gundams.
Okay.
It will get trashed.
Nice.
In a fight.
It'll look good while it does it, though.
Yeah. And
I think Gundams with capes are dumb, though.
Gundam with capes are different. Is
Gundam Wing in the main universe?
No,
because I think most Americans, that was our introduction to
really
Gundam.
Upsetting to me, because that's what they know it as. You know, like they don't. When they think of Gundam, for the normie, they don't think about the serious, good fucking story that is Gundam. They think about the Power Rangers version of Gundam,
which is
exactly what it is. Yeah. You got the 5.
I mean, even to this day, like you can go to Walmart and buy the 4-5 inch robot, the mechs of from that series.
Yeah, and they're cool. The mechs and designs are cool, but like it's not the original Gundam. It's not what it is. It's a retelling in a watered down way.
Okay.
To me.
So, Joe, to the person who's never watched Gundam before, where do they start? What would you suggest?
Gundam Origins is actually it's not a prequel per se because this story exists in War, but they're doing it as an animation recently in the last few years. So, like the animation is up to date, the storytelling is up to date, and you can start from there and. It's great. If you want an individual, everybody always says Iron Blooded Orphan. There's a reason why everybody says IBO, because IBO is amazing. Standalone story that you can just watch 2 seasons of and really grasp what serious Gundam is about.
See, and that's how I knew that Gundam wasn't for me, because I've always liked them.
Yeah.
Like I remember being to create a hobby at Laurel.
One of the few places
that had them, and I remember just being fascinated with
all the kits. Did they have them built?
Yeah, they had some built, just to show you what they were. Yeah. And I remember just seeing, and they had little books about them and shit, so I could see the art of them. And I remember just thinking how incredible the designs were.
Right.
So I've always had this curiosity about Gundam. And then when Robert D got into his phase life,
the whole trash bags full
of kits, he said, everybody at that time, I don't know if that's maybe when Iron Blooded Orphans was taken off or something.
It started then.
Okay,
it was right around that time.
Everybody was talking about it. It was just it was inescapable. It was part of the pulse of the nerddom. So they were like, you gotta watch it. And I watched the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I don't like it. And then in my head, I was like, and if this is the best, then it's probably just not for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's not everything's for everyone.
And I think a lot of people think that for me, anyway, that because if X then Y with me, if you like Transformers, then you like Gundam.
Oh yeah, no, that's not the case.
No, it's. I think that Transformers has more in common with G.I. Joe than it has with Gundam.
For sure.
From an aesthetic standpoint, if you're not worried about the fiction and you just you like cool robots, then obviously
correct. Yeah, people just look at robots and they like robots.
Correct.
And that's not the same. Gundam is more like Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
But the question of what's a better franchise, I think it depends on in what way.
And which one makes more money? Which one's more popular? Which one stands longer? I mean, they both stand the test of time. They're both fucking 40-year-old series. Yeah. They both generate tons of money.
Yeah, I don't and that's the thing is I don't know.
I think it's a preference thing. I think each person. I don't think that's a wrong answer.
Yeah, to me from the outside looking in, it's just tricky, right? I think I don't know I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, I think that Ghostbusters No, not anymore. Yeah, that's the thing. What hasn't been ruined? I'm like looking around my room. I think that the Nolan verse Batman is a better franchise than the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I think that. But I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is way more marketable, way more successful, way more palatable, way more fun, you know what I mean? Like I can go on and on. So like, I think it's better at all of these things, but I like this better.
Yes.
You know?
And you don't always have to like what's considered best by whatever metrics either.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like, I use that with like music and movies. Like, you know, like when I get into conversations with music and like, you know, like, and I'll start talking about something, and I'll be like, oh, so you're the person that you like, Drake, for instance. You know, he sold, you know, and I think he's talented. Don't get me wrong, but like he sold, you know, I don't know, 2 billion trillion records, right? Okay, cool. So, like, if we're going by that, that's what makes him good. Then this artist who sold more records, like, you know, I don't know, Backstreet Boys or whoever, is now better than Drake. Or whatever, that like one doesn't define the other.
Yeah, because I mean, when it comes to subjective things, you have to pick some kind of metric, unless you're just going to be like, I like it more.
Correct.
This is the route I go. I like it more, therefore that's it.
And if you pick the metric, that's when you can have more of an objective opinion about it.
Yeah. So like, it's easy one with money making things franchise. Like movies, music is the money, right?
Or what is this worth?
Yes.
What is this franchise? It's probably Googleable. Is that a word?
It is now.
It is now.
You know, so like, but like, I don't know what's better, and like, I don't know Gundam, but in my head, just off of my experience over the last couple of years, in my head, I go, well, it's probably less fucked, and I don't mean that in the sense of like whether something is on a downward trajectory, but just that like, it's probably less fucked in the sense of like more people have kind of like dogged her out. You know, people have get involved with Star Wars and do their thing and fuck off and have no commitment to the franchise. They're just, you know, they're there for a check. So anyway,
well, that's a good conversation. Thanks for the question, Ryan.
Todd R wrote in last week, and usually I don't keep track of emails, but I happened to just see this one as I was checking the other one. But it's a question for Joe. I recently came across a grand old video on the IG Reels. The man described a feat only uncircumcised gentlemen like yourself can accomplish. Called ballooning.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Now, I have never heard of such a thing.
It feels funny.
Here's a brief summary of what that entails for the unfamiliar, the uninitiated. So you pinch the end of the wrapper, then let the hose loose so it balloons up like that kid in Charlie the Chocolate Factory. Once it's full, your release, it's like a shotgun blast. So the question, Joe, are you aware of this? Have you done this? If not, will you? I guess I could follow it up with something like, do any of you other guys have any neat tricks you can do? Well, I used valuable work time to write this, so I probably should get back to work. I'm gonna go walk around and chat till about 20 minutes before quitting time.
Yep.
Thanks for the hours and hours of entertainment and discussion, dudes. I'll make it out there eventually, promise. One last thing, Bob, seriously, watch Barry. It's fucking good. Everybody tells me this, but it's not hitting for me.
So that is not my most favorite thing to do. I've done it before, but but when you have a lady just take your foreskin and blow a little air bubble in there, and it balloons up. That's what I call balloon. That feels funny.
Break it back out just for the special occasion. Stay away from the mic, though.
Make sure it's lubed up. It's been a minute.
Or sometimes like if you're taking a bath, you take the rim and you open it up and you make a little bird fountain.
I like to do that with my sack sometimes in the shower.
Yeah,
catch so much water you can catch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you can do that with a foreskin.
And then just let it go. Listen to the splash.
I don't know if I have any tricks. You know, other than like your normal helicopter. You know, that's stuff like that. Speaking of stuff though that has like he saw that on the internet. I saw. Did you hear that bed joke or whatever that's going around? The bed joke. Probably because it hasn't been made yet.
How does that feel? Tell me about it. How was the experience?
Oh, I had a good one last week. I don't remember what it was, but I hated you weren't here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I had that. I think I got that off last week. I'm sure I did. Okay. Shane G. He said, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Brother, speak on it.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's been quite a few weeks since I've written in. First question for the group, because this is something I've noticed. I was in certain Transformers board the other day. You guys may know it as TFW 2005. Heard of it? Of course you have. By the way, Bobby, there's a guy in there who only refers to you as old ham hands. Anyway,
Bobby doesn't know how to log into it. That's part of the song.
It's because of the ham hands. He can't do it.
Anyway, I was in the area where people can share their collections. Have you guys seen a picture of someone's collection, and when your eyes scan the picture, you notice the background and realize, God damn, they need to pick up that room?
Yep.
Bro, watch the series.
The room looks like they could star on an episode of Hoarders. And not the episode where things go well and the person changes their ways, but one of the episodes where they have goat pass everywhere to navigate the seas of sadness in their own home.
Yes.
And the production crew needs to take head count of, hey, guys, losing someone in the landfill. Hey, guys, or hey, great, you've got your toys posed wonderfully on that dusty 4-drawer dresser, but you haven't seen your cat in 2 days, and it may be lost in the house. It's probably claimed them as and the house probably claimed it as own now. So I'm always even now people are wiser because the jokes come in dummies and people don't want their shit joked.
I know. Have you gotten off? I know at one point in time you guys were still working on like that original
December 15th, 2020.
That's where you're at. That's, everybody's collection from there is completely different now, I bet.
Dude, some people like Tim K, his is coming up. Mm-hmm. And actually we just did it. Mm-hmm. And I know his has changed at least once, if not twice.
Updates, bro.
But people hit me up all
Where are they now? Display edition.
Sometimes people hit me up and they're like, hey, man, I sent my pictures in like 2 months ago. I haven't been chosen for the... And I'm like, dude, get comfortable.
We're still 2 years.
Yeah. But I'm always amazed at just the lack of pride in what people are willing to show of their house.
I mean, it's normalized, though. If it's normal to them, they don't think anything weird about it.
Listen, you know how to sell your action figures online, right? On your own made bed, your dirty mattress. So, you know the vibes.
It's just insane to me.
Have you guys gotten any and you're like, no, I'm not going to touch that? Have you gotten any that was like just so cringy bad? You haven't?
No.
Okay.
No, but we have had some where we're like, look, this one, there's not much to say other than, dust or whatever, or like
it's a one desk full of stuff.
Yeah, or just stuff where it's like okay, this is the same as before. This is, you need lights, you need to get them off the floor, you need just shit like that. But
I do pay attention to a lot of times what's in the background, like what's on the other shelf, what's in the bottom left corner shelf.
Well, Jizz is always focusing on the non-toy thing.
Like, where's Waldo in there?
Like that one recently. I can't remember if he said it on the Uncut but he was like, my man's got Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi. It automatically tells you where his head is. And then he's not wrong. And then he had another question here. Secondly, damn it, how amazing was Forbidden Door? In my humble opinion, one of AEW's best shows they have put on ever. I follow New Japan pretty closely, so seeing those guys get such a great reception from the crowd was awesome. Personally, match if the night is a tie between Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy and the three-way tag team match with FTR. That's a Franklin Theodore Roosevelt. It's a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. Chris, I'm with you. It's great seeing Claudio in AEW. I had the opportunity to meet him several years back when Raw came to town. The guy was a class act, and he's a great addition to their roster. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all for now. Stay nerdy, Ragers. Shane G.
Yeah, he's right about the top matches. Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy on paper looks like it definitely wouldn't work, but they had just a banger of a match, and that three-way tag match it's just unbelievable. And FTR, actually, that's their name. They go by FTR. They were the Revival in WWE. And actually, the Young Bucks, before any of this new show happened, they had gotten into a beef with them. And so they had started saying hashtag FTR, fuck the Revival. They just fucking ran with it. And that's their name now. They hold the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, the AAA World Tag Team Championships, the New Japan. I mean, like, they almost need somebody to come out with them just to carry all this shit to the ring. I'm carrying 3 belts to the ring apiece. It's crazy.
Next one is from Andrew M. He says, what's up, Wizards?
Just wizards then?
I'll just throw fireballs all day long, man.
Just got done with the Obi-Wan show. Glad y'all liked parts of it. I'm just glad I'm done looking at that Pillsbury Doughboy looking ass Grand Inquisitor for the time
I like
being.
him, man. I don't know.
I like his
maybe just
performance.
me.
He just looks bad.
Desert Hobo.
Or he doesn't look like the species. He doesn't look like the like even some of those
Have you
like,
seen like a jockey in the shack? They don't look like the same species either.
the who? But he
A jockey, like a horse jockey, and
that's
shack.
funny. That's pretty funny.
They
But
don't look
yeah,
like the same species.
Me and you don't look like
but the
same
Grand
species
Inquisitor
either.
in Rebels looks like the same species in Episode 3.
I mean, they look more like each other than Shaq and the jockey.
It's the same. It's the same character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my beef.
I just okay.
The show's writing is atrocious and definitely feels like they threw out the prequel lore. Don't understand where Reva's idea that Obi-Wan is to blame for the younglings being killed comes from. Why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you save us? When he was very clearly saved countless Jedi and his warning beacon after returning to the temple, and thought he ended the murderer of those younglings on Mustafar until like 2 days ago. But I stopped trying to understand the lack of logic in Star Wars for a long time. Dude, and that's the same thing. Like, why didn't you save us? Like, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was on Utapau with the cool looking Inquisitor guy.
Not even on the same fucking planet, bro.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like, not even down the street. I'm not like in another city. I'm like in another fucking planet,
Yeah.
bro. What the fuck?
I wrote in primarily to ask the room what your favorite toys were growing up. No, not your actual toys, but the things around your house growing up that you played with like toys, even though they weren't. Seems like a lot of people I know did this as a kid with at least something. We used to use squeezable ketchup bottles filled with water as water guns, and I used to use my mom's laundry baskets as pretend boats, X-Wing cockpits, a sled to slide down the stairs with, etc., even though my mom always gave me the business when she found a pile of clean laundry on the floor so I could pretend I was wedging Tilly's for an hour. If none of you did this, then I guess I grew up poor as fuck. Anyway, hope this wasn't too long. Have a good one. I'll tell you what my favorite was. It was wrapping paper rolls as swords. Like every time during Christmas, you'd find like a couple wrapping paper rolls like leaned up in a corner somewhere. My brothers and I would like instantly grab them, and they were lightsabers. They were the fucking green electrical box outside used to be the fucking
Was that the king of? Was that the high ground, Bobby?
It was kind of. It was the sail barge.
I got you.
And we used to fight on the sail barge, and then when you fell off into the Sarlacc pit. Like it was like
Nice.
like the.
We made wrestling belts out of cardboard and always got in trouble for taking all the aluminum foil.
Because it was so expensive.
And then we'd get it. You think about it, it was so cheesy, but we'd cut out a belt-ish shape, the best that 10 and 11-year-olds could, and then we'd wrap it in aluminum foil, and then just use like Sharpies and draw on the whatever we thought we were that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
I'm trying to think if there's other. I feel like, my fingers were guns often.
Finger bang a lot.
Yeah, so to speak.
My grandparents were tailors, so like we had giant paper towel rolls, things similar. So they had fabric coming like 4 foot,
Right.
And
Yeah.
at the end, at the inside tube is like
probably
paper
pretty
towel.
harder,
except it's
too.
really hard.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we definitely hurt each other. With those. Those- We use those as bow staffs, but they don't break. They will actually hurt you. And other than that, I had Legos, a random assortment of Legos. I built everything, including friends, out of Legos. And that's all. Everything it doesn't even have to look like a shape. I just put some shit together and yep, that's it.
Yeah.
That's my best.
It's the beauty of a child.
Right now.
That's when you're a kid. Right? Look, I made a jet. Oh, cool. Sure you did.
It's a brick.
Yeah. Why was it square?
Next one is from Alan Mack. He says, "Hey boys, hope all is well and you all had a good 4th of July weekend. Thoughts on the last season of the Umbrella Academy, and have any of you read the comics?"
I watched the first season and I tried to start the second season and I could not get into it, and I've put it down.
So I had a similar circumstance where I tried to watch the first season. I couldn't make it through and tapped out, and I never read the comic because the didn't strike me. The show didn't strike me to like want to go back and try to figure it out. So yeah, sorry. That's probably not the best answer to give on a podcast.
Not the intro teaser looks cool, but that's about it.
Yeah.
All I know of it. Was it like explosion and then they're like standing there?
Yeah, and it's like kind of has X-Men vibes.
Yeah.
Which is cool enough, but it just
It was very, it was very I don't want to use the word convoluted. It was very confusing. You really had, it wasn't something you could like absent. And I think that's what happened the second season is like, I was trying to watch it while I was doing something else. And it's like, you can't absent-mindedly watch the show.
Yeah. I remember like there was a lot of shows around that time where I feel like I was like, they were geared towards me. Like I was supposed to like them. But then when the rubber met the road, I didn't.
At the end of the day at 7 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Exactly. All right. So you know what time it is.
Uh-oh.
All right. Better put your hats on backwards because it's time for Marilyn Phil's Thought of the Week.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see who he's simping for today.
So already goosebumping up, bro.
It's a picture of a young lady taking a photo shoot with kind of sheets and stuff up. I'm guessing to give her a little bit of privacy.
Looks like maybe a behind
I don't even know who that is.
Like a behind the scenes kind of thing, I think. Yeah.
Did you just say behind the scenes?
There's no face in this picture.
But let's see what we get off.
It's Tabitha Lyons is her name if you want to follow her on Twitter, or at Artie Fakes. She said, and of course, so she puts up a picture of herself kind of like doing a little smile. New setup now on OnlyFans. Her OnlyFans is /Tabitha Lyons. And of course, the delivery driver interrupted the shoot. At least I had somewhere to hide this time. And our Velocithirster replies, poor delivery driver missed out on a nice view.
Oh God! I think that gets something special.
And you know he's like,
hey, by the way, happy birthday, Phil! Happy birthday, Raul! We had it was Nerd Rage birthday weekend.
Yeah. Happy birthday, America! Too.
Happy birthday! Yeah.
Is that what 4th of July is?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, they wrote a bunch of stuff down.
I want to steal it.
A bunch of people who didn't even know dinosaurs existed who wrote down a bunch of stuff about people they thought they knew. And
yep. The Declaration of Independence.
Here we are.
It has some really good parts.
Yep.
Anyway, shout out to anybody who does a podcast or doesn't and listens to this. You're part of the Cool Table. So shout out to the Cool Table, and shout out to the rest of the people working behind the scenes for Nerd Rage. Raul on Instagram, Phil on Twitter, and on our notes, I said Raul already. Dante on Facebook, and Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos, and anybody else who helps from time to time. And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty taint.
Tight Dick Player.